Look, we've got someone here from the UK that may be able to explain some of what we're talking about when we talk about presumed liability. And this is something I'm really passionate about because I've been studying this for 4 years.
I wanted to know the difference between fully comprehensive insurance, where if my car is damaged, it gets repaired, and third party or CTP green slip.
Now we're really lucky because right now we've got Ian, who's over here from the UK, from the Isle of Wight. And he's going to explain what driver's insurance is, because the falsehood or fallacy of presumed liability is not real. Doesn't exist.
Well, my question was, what is presumed liability? Because if there's an accident between a car and a cyclist, the cyclist is the more vulnerable road user. So do the police say, or do the insurance company say, we assume that the car is at fault unless proven otherwise? And who pays for the repair to the car? Who pays for the repair to the bike? And if people are injured, who pays for that?
Okay, well, let's look at it like this. And Ian, you're here to tell us today whether I'm right or wrong, because you actually live under a system that we're talking about of protecting the more vulnerable road user in the case of a crash. In Australia right now, we've got CTP. We've got compulsory third-party insurance. It's called MAC in South Australia, it's called TAC in Victoria, but the rest of the place it's called CTP.
Compulsory third-party.
Compulsory third-party insurance. Compulsory third-party insurance is what you pay on top of your registration, which is a way of insuring people against a crash if you crash into someone. It covers the medical expenses. It doesn't cover the bike.
Or the car.
Or the car.
Yeah.
So if you crash into me on my bike, I'm covered for my medical expenses, but my bike is totaled. So if I only want to go after you for my bike now, I have to go through the insurance, I have to prove that you're at fault and everything else. Okay, that sounds really good under presumed liability, because it means that you're responsible for my bike under the insurance. Under driver's insurance, you already are. And explain to us very briefly what you pay for as far as insurances go to be able to drive your car.
In Europe.
In the UK, you know, if you own a vehicle, it has to be insured. And it's now law that it's the owner of that vehicle that has to be the person that insures the vehicle.
So it's the driver insurance rather than car insurance, is that right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, basically, you cannot own a vehicle without it being insured by the owner,
yep,
which is normally the driver. Yep. So you can't own a vehicle unless you're able to drive. And that vehicle then has to be taxed, MOT'd and insured, all in your own name. So it helps maintain and make sure that you are insured to be on the road.
The driver's insured.
The driver's insured, yeah. So in other words, if you hit me on my bike,
yeah,
I immediately go, I've been hit by Ian, I'm going to go for your insurance. Yeah. And your insurance is going to cover me until or unless...
If it can be proven that you broke the highway code, that you were in fact breaking the law.
So under the system, under the European system that we're talking about, yeah, or the UK system, the European system is the same thing. If now you've proven that I was at fault,
yeah,
how am I going to go for medical expenses?
You end up having to either have your own insurance to get those medical expenses, or you go under the NHS system, and you can only claim, shall we say, or you can only go for medical expenses to get you better. It's not going to carry on forevermore.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is, if it's now deemed that I was at fault because your insurance company's turned around and gone, you've gone, it wasn't my fault. The insurance company's then turned around and gone, well, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
I'm now left on my own. Basically, I'm going to go through the hospital system under the victims of crime payments. And
yeah, there's a victims fund that, you know, should you get hit by an uninsured driver, for argument's sake, you're able to claim anything out of the victim liability fund.
Yeah.
If it turns out that there is no insurance that you're able to actually cover yourself from, then you're left down to the NHS system. If it turns out that you've got a life-changing injury or a disablement because of that crash, because of that injury, then again you can claim through Social Security, for argument's sake, you know.
But you haven't got a TAC that you can go to and do all of this in one hit.
No. It's so complicated. It's complicated. It's convoluted. It's designed to make sure that as a driver, If you
Stuff up?
you stuff up, if you cause a problem, if you cause a crash, if you hit someone, you get penalised in the pocket.
Yep.
And the problem is
by your
insurance company goes up and up and up. You can get points on your licence if needs be. You only get 12 points in the UK and you lose your licence.
Yep.
But your insurance premiums go up.
Now, I've heard roughly, and the figures are different depending on which country you're in and who the insurance broker is, but I've heard first crash it's around 30% increase on your premium, second crash it's like 100% increase to 200% increase on your premium, the third crash it's like a 2000% increase on your original premium, or
they just completely and totally refuse to insure you. And if you get one insurance company, if you're ever refused insurance by an insurance company, chances are it's a domino effect. Everybody's going to refuse to insure you, because you have to sign a declaration on any application for insurance to state whether or not you've ever been turned down for insurance. And they all share information.
Let's look at the positives of presumed liability over the positives of presumed liability, meaning driver's insurance, over the positives of TAC. So under TAC, if I get hit by a car, my fault or not, I'm covered for the rest of my life. Okay, great. But I don't get my bike repaired, I don't get anything else covered, and the driver of the car, their fault or not, if it is their fault, their insurance doesn't go up, they still keep driving on the road, they still can crash into another person. And I've actually met someone a wee while ago who was telling me they've had 12 crashes and they still pay the same TAC that we pay, that I pay. So let's look at the positives of driver's insurance. If someone crashes into you, you get your bike covered, you get your medicals covered, you get anything else that you need to get covered if it's the driver's fault. But the driver's insurance also goes up, and then suddenly they can't drive anymore. Now, in the UK, would you drive without driver's insurance?
Nowadays, no way. Absolutely no way.
You'd be arrested, wouldn't you?
With ANPR systems that are going on, and they're bringing ANPR checking systems into supermarket car parks.
What's that, automatic?
Automatic registration systems.
Automatic number plate
yeah.
registration systems.
Yeah,
so
but they actually have it in the shopping centres as you're driving in, and they can find who you are, come along, clamp your car, and then you're gone.
Yeah, any public car park over there, any public car park, the police have the right to come and clamp the vehicle, seize the vehicle, and nick you straight away.
So basically what we're saying here is that what we're after is not presumed liability, we're after driver's insurance. We're after a way of stopping drivers from carrying on driving like dickheads.
Bad behaviour.
Drivers need to be penalised for poor driving. So if they have an accident, they need their premiums to go up. If they have 10 accidents, they can't get insurance. And if they can't get insurance, they shouldn't be driving.
And if they do drive and they're not insured, they're going to get arrested. They're going to be arrested. And I've actually heard, I haven't heard about the UK, but I actually know in the Netherlands, if you get arrested for not having driver's insurance, you will be put in prison.
9 times out of 10 in the UK, 9 times out of 10, if it's a first offence, they heavily fine you. And normally you'll end up with 6 points on your licence, a minimum. If it's a second offence, you're doing time.
We want driver's insurance because it does exist and it's already working across Europe.
It puts the onus on the driver.
Puts the onus on the driver to be more sensible. Overall, do you, in your own experience, in your own belief,
a lot more drivers in the UK are more and more careful. Okay, they are more aware of their surroundings. They will more likely yield to another vehicle or a bike user or a pedestrian than just ignore it. So road rage comes down. However, having said that, you still get 1 or 2 people, shall we say, that will go out and chance their arm. They will go out and they will try and drive without insurance. And it's those people that end up putting the policies up for others. My insurance is about £220 a year, fully comprehensive, with breakdown cover, with medical cover, with legal cover, windscreen cover, so the whole package.
So let me break this down. Having driver's insurance, the better you are as a driver, the safer you are as a driver, the more conscientious you are as a driver, the cheaper it is to be a driver.
Yes, and the more bonuses. Yes.
I'm gonna stop the interview there because I think we've got enough information, but I do want Ian to introduce himself correctly and tell us who he is and what he's doing right now in Australia. So Ian, why are you here?
Madly enough, I came over to do 1,700 miles. I wanted to do 2,000 miles, but you know, it's probably a little bit too much with the weather that we've had recently. But I'm raising money for 6 charities. We've got Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia, so we've got an Everyday Hero page up and running, so Australian dollars stay here in Australia. Raising money for Prostate Cancer UK. Raising money for Challenge and Adventure, which is for disadvantaged kids back on the Isle of Wight. Layla's Trust, which is for cot death and terminally ill infants back on the Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight Zoo, and the Isle of Wight Pride, which is the LBGT community at large, shall we say. So yeah, we're just trying to raise as much money for charity as possible by just cycling around southern Australia.
So thanks Ian, thanks for giving us your feedback today. Thanks. There you go, T.